Hi, this is Matt Hug with Nonprofit.Courses, and you may or may not know I teach a grant writing course at Thomas Edison State University, MSP 662, if you're ever interested. And one of the things that comes up in that course is a discussion about gift acceptance policies. Now, gift acceptance policies are kind of the rules of engagement that a nonprofit sets up to work with its donors. So, when can it take a gift or not? And if you think about it, right? I mean, obviously, when you at first blush, you might say, "Oh, well, we want to take every gift." But then when you think about it, it's like maybe not. And there are a lot of things that might have an impact on whether you want to receive a gift or apply for a grant. So I'm just going to go over a few of them here. There's also a video, a more complete video on Nonprofit.Courses, which I will include on the link below, and you can check that out too. So let's make a little list here. The first one is who is giving the gift. Now, there are a lot of nonprofit organizations for good reason, for whatever they, or just whatever they think is ethical for them, will or will not take gifts from certain categories of donors. Like they won't take corporation gifts because they don't feel like they want to be influenced one way or another. They may not take gifts from certain foundations, certain kinds of foundations, whatever it is, right? That's something that you want to set out ahead of time before you run into some problem where somebody wants to give it and you're not quite sure that's what you want to do. When? Now, you might ask, well, how does when, why does that make a difference? Well, if you're dealing with something like a gift of real estate, for example, my personal recommendation, just coming from some experience with this, is that you don't want to accept real estate gifts until you have an opportunity to do your due diligence, right? To go through and check out that it's not a toxic waste dump, that the title is clear and all that, right? And if you're ever approached by somebody or some organization that says, hey, we want to give you this real estate, but it's a last minute deal before the end of the year, we have to do our tax, to get tax benefits from it. It's like, yeah, maybe not. You want to back off. So maybe you set that date for like November 1st to give yourself 2 months to do all your due diligence before. And if somebody comes to you with that great last minute deal, you can say, thanks, we'll pass. It might look like a great opportunity, but it might be the worst decision your organization ever made, accepting it, that is. But there may be other circumstances. So you want to look at when you accept gifts. Why? Ask yourself, what is the motivation of the donor? It's a little hard to define sometimes. And so this is a little stickier way, aspect of a gift acceptance policy, but it could be something to consider. And I just throw that in there for you. Who can accept the gifts? This is really important. Are there certain people in your organization that can say yes to accepting a gift? Number one. So is it like the board? Is it an executive director? Is it a fundraiser or a program officer of some sort? And maybe the board accepts the very biggest gifts, and then you set a slightly lower threshold for the executive director to say anything of this level or below that person can accept, and then down the line. So that might be part of this. So who is accepting gifts is really important to look at. Also, whether kind of mixed into that might be whether the gift is restricted or unrestricted, and looking at whether a gift, if it's a restricted gift, maybe the numbers are different, and restricted being going to a specific program at your nonprofit versus an unrestricted gift, which is to spend on anything you want. Maybe you have different thresholds on that. Whether they're going to be returnables. In other words, what is, if any, quid pro quo for this? Now, that sounds worse than it may be, but it's worth considering. Influence might be a returnable, right? Does this person want somehow to have access or influence on a particular project, or a company might want to? Is it, getting something back, something tangible? The IRS has limits on that. I encourage you to check into those. But they use the word like nominal, and actually I think they set a percent limit, and you can check that out. It's very low. So you can, if somebody gives you a $2 million gift, yeah, you can put up a plaque because that's within the threshold of that. But if they give you a $25 gift and expect you to give them something of equal value in return, that's really a sale. It's not a gift, and you need to define that in your gift acceptance policies. And then maybe even a process for which gifts are sought can also be put into your gift acceptance policy. So it might be that you as a grant writer or a fundraiser, want to ask yourself, do I have authorization to pursue a gift for this project? Typically, I would recommend that go through a process that involves, say, the program head of whatever program is the money is sought for, and then the executive director, maybe the board, and then back to the head of fundraising of some sort and to the grant writer or fundraiser in this case, so that the fundraiser or grant writer is not put in the position of making the decision on the priorities of the organization. That's not particularly ethical. I think I've covered most of those. Like I said, we have a video that goes into more in depth on this, which I'll point to. Ask yourself, what are some of the other conditions for gift acceptance? Think about that. Maybe put them down in the comments below. And of course, go check out this and more videos on grant proposal writing, on fundraising, on all things nonprofits at Nonprofit.Courses. This is Matt Hug with Nonprofit.Courses, wishing you a great nonprofit day.